In section 3.3, today we're going to be using multiplication and division to solve inequalities. So those are your first two blanks on this note sheet, multiplication and division. Yesterday we used addition and subtraction, and today we're using the next two operations. And the same rule applies. If we multiply one number to one side, you do the exact same thing to the other. Now, it's a little bit different than adding and subtracting, because when you multiply or divide each side by a negative number, you're changing the meaning of the inequality. And in order to compensate for this, we need to reverse the inequality symbol in order to make the inequality true. So an example of this would be y over negative 4 is greater than 2. And what we're going to do to get rid of that negative 4 on the bottom, we're going to multiply both sides by negative 4. And when you do that, these go away, y, the symbol has to switch, and you'll get a negative 8. So that's how it works. Okay, example 1. This is not involving multiplication of a division. Multiplication of a negative, sorry about that. But you will see that in a moment. X over 3 is less than negative 2. In order to get the x by itself, we need to multiply both sides by 3, because you have to do the opposite of dividing by 3. The 3's go away. X is less than negative 6. Now you may be thinking, oh, I see a negative over there. Well, we're not multiplying or dividing by the negative. Then that negative 2 is just hanging out on the right side. We're not multiplying or dividing that negative 2 to the other side. So that's why we didn't flip the symbol. Now we go to the graph below. We have an open circle on the negative 6, and we shade towards the left, because those are the numbers that are smaller than negative 6. Also remember the little trick that less than symbol points towards the left. Okay, example 2. This time we do have a negative involved. This is the original. In order to get the w by itself, aka isolating the w, we need to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, or the flip, of negative 3/4. And the reciprocal, or the flip, of negative 3/4 is negative 4/3. So that's what we're going to do now. And keep the symbol in the middle. Don't write it there yet. Multiply both sides by negative 4/3. Technically that 3 over there is over 1, so we write that to help us out. And now let's see what happens. Oh, by the way, the symbol in the middle flips. So now we have a less than or equal to. That always happens when you multiply or divide by a negative number, and that's what happened. So on the left side, the negatives go away. Remember, 2 negatives multiply gives you a positive. Now look, the 4's go away and the 3's go away. So the w's by itself. Now on the right side, the 3's go away. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And negative 4 over 1 is just negative 4. So there's our answer. And let's graph it, and then we'll check. So close circle on the negative 4, because it's including the endpoint. That line underneath the symbol means including. We're shading towards the left. Those are the numbers that are smaller than negative 4. Now I'll show you the checking process. We need to check the endpoint, and then we'll check the symbol, the inequality symbol. So first of all, let's rewrite this. We're using an equation for a second, and we're checking the endpoint of negative 4. So negative 4 is going in for the w, and it's technically over 1. The negatives go away, the 4's go away, and we just have a positive 3. Does 3 equal 3? Yes, so endpoint is correct. Now let's check the symbol. Rewrite, check. Rewrite the inequality. And now, what kind of number do we have to plug in for the w this time? Any number that is smaller than negative 4. And because it's a fraction, that negative 3/4, I would choose a number that goes well with 4. And the smallest, the number that goes well with 4, that's smaller than negative 4, is negative 8. So I'm plugging in a negative 8. It doesn't have to be that way, but I'm trying to get rid of the fractions, and I know you would prefer that. Negative 8's going in over 1, question mark 3. The negatives cancel. The 4 goes away, and the 8 becomes a 2, and now we have 3 times 2, that's 6. Is 6 greater than or equal to 3? Yes. So it works. And that's it for that problem. Okay, now we're going to move on to division, but the good news for you is that when we solve inequalities using division, it is similar to solving inequalities using multiplication. So the same rule of flipping the symbol applies. If you divide each side of an inequality by a negative number, you need to reverse the symbol, the direction of the symbol, in order to allow for that negative number going to both sides. So remember, you reverse the direction of the symbol, and I normally just call it flipping the symbol, so it's going the opposite direction. Okay, example 3 on the back. This is about walking dogs. You walk dogs in your neighborhood after school. You earn $4.50 per dog. How many dogs do you need to walk to earn at least $75? So now let's underline the givens. $4.50 per dog, and you want to earn at least $75. And the question is at how many dogs? So how about we say, let D equal number of dogs. And there isn't a ton of space on your note sheet, so make sure you write small. Now, we need to set up an inequality that represents this situation. So let's do cost per dog times the number of dogs is at least money wanted. Now let's fill in the givens. We know that the cost per dog is $4.50. Times means multiplication. D is the number of dogs. Is at least is greater than or equal to. Because is at least means you want to have at least this amount or more than that amount. And 75 is the dollar amount. So the least amount of money that you want is 75. You don't want to go below that. So that's what that means. Now, in order to get the D by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 450. D is greater than or equal to 16.67. Now take a look at that. Does that make sense for your answer? Can you walk 16.67 dogs? I don't think so. The number of dogs must be a whole number. So we're going to round up to 17. So round up. And we're going to write, you need to walk at least 17 dogs in order to make your $75 or more. And last problem, what are the solutions of negative 9y is greater than or equal to 63? In order to get the y by itself, we're going to divide both sides by negative 9. Leave space for the symbol. Divide by negative 9 on both sides. A multiplication or division, actually, of a negative number means we're flipping or reversing the symbol. And now the y is by itself. And what is 63 divided by negative 9? Negative 7. So there's our answer. Let's graph that real quick. Close circle on the negative 7 because of that including line at the bottom right there. And we're shading towards the right because those are the numbers that are bigger than negative 7. Okay, that completes this lesson. You can try the lesson check right now or wait until we do problems similar together during class.